Hey, what's up everybody? I'm SuperSonicJB, and have you ever went to bed one night and woke up in a haunted house? Ah, crap! Yep, it's that time of year again, folks. Halloween. The time of the year where you can get so scared you piss yourself and get free candy too. And come on, what's more terrifying than Luigi's Mansion Dark Moon, am I right? Since I'll be celebrating Halloween in this random haunted house, I might as well make a stupid video, right? When you think of horror video games, what do you usually think of? Resident Evil, Amnesia, Silent Hill. That's usually what most people think, but have you ever seen a horror game that looks like this before?
Want a Sprite cranberry?
Thirstiest time of the year.
Probably not. Now, I played a lot of great horror games, but for this Halloween I wanted to try something a bit different. Today I will play through / review some of the weirdest horror games I could find. Now, keep in mind, just because I find it weird doesn't mean it's a bad game. In fact, a lot of these games we're playing today are actually pretty good. Also, yes, horror games in themselves can be viewed as weird / supernatural, but these ones are the ones that really stood out to me and really define the word weird. So let's take a look at some of the weirdest horror games I could find. Now, I wanted this video to be a little bit more unique, so these are about games that I never actually played before until now, so yeah, anything that I played before in the past, I will not be talking about, so let's do it. Up first on our list, we have Bunny. Aren't bunnies just adorable creatures? Well, not in this game, because this thing looks like a literal pile of trash that came to life in a dumpster with bunny ears on its head. This game is also clearly a ripoff of that game Granny, with the art style being the exact same and the whole day system being very similar. Even the bunny acts just like Granny, except he's way more stupid looking. Now, why is this game listed in this video? Because the bunny is so hilariously bad that I can't take it seriously for a split second. Just look at his mouth, it looks like it was just drawn on in MS Paint. Basically, you just explore the house you're in and solve the puzzles in order to escape. You can also use weapons to fend this bunny thing off. And man, the bunny's AI is just so awful. One time, he literally trapped himself in a room and soft-locked himself. So yeah, the game's super weird and plays like crap. Up next, we have the classic Slendytubbies. For all of you that have watched the Teletubbies and thought they looked kinda terrifying, man oh man, is this the perfect game for you. Slendytubbies is a recreation of Slender, the 8 pages, but instead of Slender Man chasing you, Teletubbies chase you instead. Okay, we get it, you're scared already! The game itself isn't really anything too special. It really is just a Slenderman ripoff. But my god, why do they actually have to make the scream so freaking loud? Not to mention the game is literally too dark. Most of the time I had no idea where I was going, and the only things I could mainly see were trees and the Teletubbies themselves. Every once in a while, a creepy pic of a Teletubby will show up on your screen to scare you. But it didn't succeed very well in scaring me. Maybe if a pic of this popped up, it might have actually worked. You can even enter their home and find a decapitated Teletubby on the floor with blood everywhere. Now, why are all of them killing each other? I have no idea, honestly. This game is just so weird because these guys were meant for kids, and someone decided to change that and created something much, much worse. Okay, well, maybe it's not as bad as the TV show. Catherine is a really weird game. I mean, considering a good portion of the game has a protagonist dressed like this and tries to climb up a tower without falling into an abyss of suffering while being hunted down by these strange creatures really makes it seem weird. So in this game you play as Vincent, a guy who's in love with this lady Catherine, and they're getting married and will have a kid soon. But then this other chick, also named Catherine, shows up out of nowhere and tries to make Vincent hers. Also, if you play the full body version of this game, there's a third person named Rin, so that's 3 people wanting Vincent's love. As I mentioned briefly earlier, this game has you climb up this really long tower, move boxes, and solve puzzles in order to get to the top. This is apparently a dream Vincent is having because he's not being loyal to his girlfriend. It's just so bizarre seeing him with the head of a sheep in his underwear, climbing up a dangerous tower as a giant monster is chasing after him. And if you think that's weird, it actually gets weirder as you play on, so spoilers are ahead. Every time you wake up from one of these dreams, you wake up next to Catherine, with a C. and you can't remember anything of what happened earlier. Rin is apparently a dude, and is also an alien, who appears in your dreams playing the piano for some strange reason. Like I said before, this game is just so weird. The game starts off with this lady with insane hair, by the way, tells you about Vincent's life, like she's secretly creeping on him. A lot of the game takes place in a bar, like seriously, Vincent and his friends go here every single day. Don't they have lives outside of this bar? And then these other people come out of nowhere and try and steal Vincent from Catherine. Okay, well, they try and steal from the Catherine with a K. So, yeah. And yes, in the end, this game is labeled as a horror game, mainly because of those dream scenes, and this one too.
Okay, I can finally say it. Ren, there's something that I need to tell you.
Now, that scene can be quite terrifying, but it can only be attained through Rin's route. So yeah, in the end, Catherine Full Body is one of the weirdest horror games out there. But it is a pretty enjoyable experience, really. Well, minus the people dying, of course. But other than that, it's a good game. Siren Head. A monster that looked like it's seen better days. Yep, all of you probably already knew I mentioned this game, but Siren Head is another super weird horror game. I mean, the monster that's chasing you is like 60 feet tall and has 2 sirens on a pole for its head, with a disgusting looking body to fit. Now, the first time I saw this thing, I thought to myself, this is freaking hilarious. But when you actually play the game, man, does that change. Okay, well, it's still hilarious, but way scarier now. So the story in this game, at least the one we're looking at today, is about our character going camping in the woods with his friends because he plays too much Atari. Wow, what a nerd playing games all day. Ha 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 ha! Wait. So we make our way to the park and our friends are nowhere to be seen. I also do want to mention this game's unique art style. It feels like we're in an 80s horror movie capturing it on film, which is pretty cool. We end up finding our friend's campsite, but of course, they're nowhere to be found. Obviously, they decided to leave because mom was calling for dinner, right? And they left the fire running. Man, what a bunch of jerks! It should be reported right now! Remember, guys, only you can prevent wildfires. Unless you're burning Sonic Labyrinth, then burn it to the ground! So we have to make our way to the Ranger's Tower to get help. Of course, when we get there, everyone is gone, and the tower itself is down. So we have to find a generator in order for it to turn back on. So this is when Siren Head starts to hunt us. But little does he know, the Ranger Station has a gun that you can use to shoot him down. And trust me, you'll know Siren Head is nearby because of all the sounds he makes. It does feel very satisfying to shoot him, but be careful because you have limited ammo. Now the main issue I have with this game is that it's way too dark. Trying to see where you're going can be quite a hassle, and sometimes you get stuck on trees. Okay, well, most of the time you pretty much will. Also, Siren Head himself is very difficult to see because he blends in, so be careful. We end up finding the dead body of our friend Sarah. Well, part of her anyways. Activate the generator and get back to the tower. You contact the police and they want to meet you in a certain spot. But Siren Head gets really aggressive and the game ends with him killing you. Because of course it does. So in the end, I enjoyed this game, but wow, Siren Head is just such a weird idea for a horror monster. Then again, Slender Man's a thing, so whatever. So this is the letter for the Wii U, made by Treefall Studios. Oh yeah, of course. I mean, in order to make a letter, you need paper, which comes from trees. Off the bat, I just want to say, good God, the loading screens in this game take forever. Give me Sonic 06 over this, for crying out loud. The title screen looks like it was created by a 5-year-old too. So the game starts off with you exploring a random room to find a letter, which is this obviously giant one on the floor here. And after you get the letter, it sends you to the next area to do another objective. There's usually writing on walls that give you hints on where to go, but the hints themselves aren't very good. Like this one says find a weapon, but there are weapons everywhere, but you need a specific one, which the game doesn't tell you which one. Also, man, the levels themselves just feel so lifeless and boring. I don't even know what's up with the graphics in this game either. This game is just so awful. Most of the game just felt like filler, and the game's only about 10 to 20 minutes long! This game isn't even scary, but for some reason it's still considered horror, because apparently people died before. In my personal opinion, this is one of the worst horror games ever made. And that's saying something. So let's keep this on the Wii U and never speak of it again. For as long as you can remember, legends have been told about the derelict mansion upon the hill that casts a blanket of darkness over the town. The history of the house itself is virtually unknown, and even the town's eldest residents cannot remember the mansion's origins. Being an avid history enthusiast, you embark up to the mountains to visit the manor, hoping to shed some light on the backstory of this crumbling fortress of darkness. So this game is called Spooky's Jump Scare Mansion. In this game, you travel through a giant mansion that contains, no joke, 1,000 floors. Yup, you have to travel through all these small areas to reach the end of the game. You start off the game meeting Spooky, an Adventure Time looking ghost girl who tells you to seek out what's at the end of her mansion. Also, wow, her voice is just so straight up hilarious.
I am Spooky. And this is my home. Can you, humble player, make it through 1,000 rooms? Can you find what lies at the end?
Will there be nachos there?
As I stated earlier, this game has 1,000 floors in it, and after a certain amount of rooms you go in, you're rewarded with a nice jump scare. Okay, well, some of the jump scares are kind of pathetic. Now as you progress through the mansion, the jump scares do get more intense, and there's more puzzles involved as you progress. Also, once you get to a certain point in the game, some monsters chase you, which adds more excitement to the very repetitive gameplay. Now the reason I consider this game kinda weird is because the whole game just plays strange. You go through a ton of copy and paste rooms just to be rewarded with a cheap, silly jump scare. Plus Spooky looks like a lost soul from Adventure Time, so I can never take her seriously at all. And what the heck is up with that ending? Here, just take a look and try not to laugh.
The time has come, my loyal troops. No longer shall we be called cute or adorable. No longer will we be disregarded and ignored. For now, we are the most feared army in the world.
Did you really think it was going to end seriously? I don't know, kind of, I don't know. Little Nightmares is truly a creepy / weird game. Think about it, you play as a child who looks like that kid from It. You wake up in a strange location where it's super dark and there's all these giant monsters that want to eat you everywhere, including freaky human creature things, I don't know. Yep, it's a pretty weird game, but a good one nonetheless. I gotta admit, whenever a monster chases you, it truly feels heart-stopping. There's a lot of stealth mechanics to this game which adds more fear to it, but honestly, I feel like the masked geisha lady is somehow the most terrifying thing in this game. Her mask could give you nightmares for weeks. Nightmares, get it? Nightmares because little nightmares. Okay, I'll stop. Man, that was scary. The only thing I can think of that's more terrifying than that is trying to beat Crash Bandicoot without dying. So this game is a new one that just released last month called Psycho No Sotoka. It's a game where a crazy yandere girl hunts you down in a school that really loves the color blue for some reason. If you make too much noise, this girl will kill you. If you get caught, she will kill you. And if you say the B movie sucks, she'll cancel you on Twitter. You're supposed to escape from the school, but you need to get the key code in order to escape. You can find numbers exploring the school, but watch out, because that psycho girl is after you. Once you get all the numbers, you can enter them in and escape. It may not be the very climactic ending, but hey, at least you can walk away alive screaming how much you hate the B movie. I may not know a lot about Corpse Party, mostly because I haven't played the game before now. But wow, this game is freakier than that Lindsay Lohan movie. Corpse Party is a game where a group of Japanese high schoolers are celebrating their school's festival by watching Sonic Boom together. Oh wait, sorry, typo. What I meant to say was, by telling ghost stories until an earthquake transports them to a schoolhouse in another dimension that is haunted by ghosts who've been trapped there. Stupid freaking typos. You're supposed to explore the school in order to find a way out. Of course, some of the characters, and by some, I mean pretty much all, are possessed by ghosts, and you really gotta be careful with who you trust. There's a total of 5 chapters in the game, all with multiple endings, and every decision you make can lead to life or death. We serve both of those here with a side of ketchup. The game was made in RPG Maker and looks pretty good in my opinion. It also controls and plays very well. It does get pretty creepy seeing dead bodies everywhere, though, but come on, who hasn't seen that every once in a while, am I right? Hey dude, did you ever take care of the... God dang it, not again. So yeah, Corpse Party is a weird one with a unique art style and setting, but it's still a great game you should definitely check out. Next we have Escape the Ayuoki. Now for those of you who are wondering, what the heck is an Ayuoki? It's a creepy Michael Jackson monster thingy. Yes, you heard me right, this is a Michael Jackson horror game. This game is based off a Spanish creepypasta about a cryptid Michael Jackson monster that appears in people's rooms late at night, laughing. Yeah, it's a weird one. I mean, I never would expect a demonic Michael Jackson would be trying to kill me tonight, but hey, it can't be any worse than what E.T. on the Atari did to me. You're supposed to collect objects in order to escape and hide from the Ayuoki in order to survive. But wow, is this game hard. Just trying to get to a different room is insanely hard with how fast he is and how awful your character's stamina is. In the end, I didn't beat the game just because it was too frustrating for me to deal with. But hey, at least I'll never look at Michael Jackson the same ever again. Next up, we have Hello Neighbor. Hello Neighbor is a game where you move into a new neighborhood, but your neighbor across the street, who lives in a giant weird looking house, seems like he's hiding something. And when you simply go over to say hi, he flips out and tries to kill you for stepping foot on his property. It's a pretty creative and unique game with a nice art style, but it's so freaking weird. This guy's house is ridiculous. One room has a freaking shark, then there's this giant ladder that seems to never end in the middle of nowhere, and his basement is so strange, it's like you're dreaming it up. Personally, I think it's an alright game. It can be very stressful and fun when your neighbor is chasing you, but the game's physics and bugs can be very annoying to deal with, so it's just alright in my opinion. And last but not least, we have a PS4 game called Joe's Diner. Really original title, huh? So in this game, you're running around a diner at night. You even know it's closed, but hey, sometimes you need people to clean up at night, right? You go around cleaning up the place, but apparently this very diner is haunted for some reason. I don't know, there's some kind of backstory about a rivalry between some Indian tribes, but the game doesn't really go into detail about this. In order to survive, you gotta keep that noise meter at the bottom low at all costs. Unfortunately, the ghosts like to play games and mess with you by turning things on in the restaurant. One of the biggest problems with this concept is the fact that all these objects make the exact same sound, so trying to figure out what's on is really hard and time consuming. Also, try not to die, because if you die, man are you punished for it. The game starts all over again with no checkpoints anywhere, and it even makes you sit through that boring opening cutscene about what happened here at this location many years ago. It's just such a poorly controlled and boring game that even the people who gave this game a freaking rating thought it was pathetic. This was, in my opinion, one of the worst PS4 games / horror games I've ever played. I will say it's slightly better than the letter, but not by that much. And that's all I really have to say about Joe's Diner. Wow, those games are real spooky there, but at least it's Halloween, meaning that I can piss myself and not feel dumb about it. Although, if I really want true terror, I know exactly what to do. Now this is true terror.